Hello and welcome to our Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn Live. So, Joseph from NoteFull here, and I'm excited as everyone starts to come into the live class to let you know that today we're going to have a great class focused on acing your TOEFL speaking question one, a question I know that a lot of us have challenges with. I'm going to outline the class soon. So get ready to feel good and let's boost your performance. So again, this is Joseph from NoteFull.com. Excited to be with you, welcoming everybody. And usually takes about a few minutes for everyone to start to come in and then the interactions to begin. So happy you're here at the launch of this class. It's an early Saturday morning or a Saturday afternoon morning. So hello to everyone out there. Let's go ahead and review what we're going to cover today. So the essentials for this class to make sure that, not reading, but speaking, to make sure that you improve is the first thing we're going to do is, as usual, is center ourselves for the class. Make sure we're in the right mindset, feeling good and comfortable, ready to learn as much as possible. So I see everyone starting to come in. Hello, everybody. Excited that you're here. So we're going to center ourselves for the class, feeling good and confident. Then I'm going to do a little survey, a short survey, just to see what your previous scores are. If you took the TOEFL, what your dream scores were. So I can make sure to have the right mindset for the class to help everybody. Happy you're all here. Then we're going to work on, of course, this is focused on speaking question one. On the TOEFL speaking, you have 4 questions. Question one, we're going to work on, which is an open-ended question that asks for your opinion. So a lot of students have trouble with the limited preparation time, 15 seconds. So we're going to talk about how to deal with that so that you perform better. We're going to start to discuss strategies that help our students, right? My continuing students here, my new students, to generate reasons and examples more easily. We're going to work on expressing ourselves, right? A nice smooth template, how to use it, so that once we do have our reasons and examples, we can express them well under timed conditions. And this is something that I started to notice too, to let go of overthinking and second guessing. Sometimes not only when we prepare, is this the right template? Should I say this? Should I do this? But really, while we answer too, we can be trying to overcomplicate things. So keeping it simple so we really rate and score higher. And then I'm going to talk about the next steps to conquer your TOEFL, the classes we have, the way to keep studying with us. And so this is the outline of our class. And let's say some hellos to everybody. Welcome. Martha, hello to you. Happy that you're here. Hope you have your notebook ready. Madi, welcome. Happy that you're here as well. Zainab, checking in. Very cool. Good luck. Your test is tomorrow, so I hope this is going to give you comfort for speaking question one. And then if you want to continue to work hard to improve your score, whatever you get, you'll know how to do that. So happy you're here. Don't worry, you can do it. You can do it. Sama, welcome. Happy that you're here. Kulode, Hossam, all right. Happy that you're here. Alice, welcome. Rama, and this name, I'm not quite sure, but hello to you as well. Magdalena, welcome. Moath, Leslie, happy that you're here. So yesterday I tried to pay for the course, but doesn't let me apply the discount. Is it still available? So this is for students, my continuing students. I'll talk about this later. So if you take one of our classes for the full month, then we have an early bird discount for the next month. So that discount, because the class is starting Monday, in just a few days from this Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and LinkedIn Live, the discount has been used up. But I'll talk about what our options are at the end to make sure that you get in at the best value possible. So Jacqueline, hello. All right, everybody. Let's kick it off. Let's get that music down. I hope you can hear it in the background. Can you hear it, everybody, in the background? Just some nice background music to feel comfortable and positive. So thumbs up to you and everybody for being here on a Saturday. let's go ahead and get started. And as I teach, I'll be bringing up the questions that you're asking. So we take advantage of that opportunity to be live, right? So I get to answer all the questions that you have that come up, not only for TOEFL speaking question one, but all questions. So this is really important right now. I'm going to do my little speech here, but Froggy over here represents having the right mental state and kind of emotional state to perform well, especially for the speaking section, but all sections, all our success stories. I myself, we have stress with standardized tests, right? It's that moment to perform. So, one of the best ways to help is this three-part centering practice where you take slow, deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, right? Really calming, centering yourself, letting your body know we're okay. Eyes closed. This is really important because when you close your eyes, you eliminate that visual distraction, the visual stimulation that can be supporting, triggering the stress. So this lets you just concentrate on your breathing and then positive self thoughts. Not just something that you are trying to make up, like I'm perfect or I'm going to do everything perfectly, but something practical and positive. Because when stress starts to build up, we start to think negatively. So it can be as practical as I'm going to perform well, I'm going to do my best, I'm going to learn, right? I know I'm going to do well on my test tomorrow, and today is going to help me. So we're going to do that for 1 minute, those three parts of breathing, eyes closed, and positive thinking. That's going to make sure we have a better attention span, better attitude. We're going to learn more throughout the class today. So 1 minute class, I expect to last about an hour. Sometimes it goes a little bit over. So let's do our centering exercise now as a group. And that is our 1 minute. Do you feel centered, everybody? You feel a little bit better? Let me know in the comments. And also, I'm going to ask you our student survey and then a couple questions that came in. I'll address as you respond. So, just to make sure that I know as a group, everybody would love for you to respond to let me know so I can make the class better for you and everybody who re-watches the recording. So let me know what your previous TOEFL speaking score was and try to put this all in one comment. If you never took the TOEFL before, just put 0. That's the easiest one. And then what is your TOEFL speaking dream score? So did you get a 22 and your dream score is a 26? Did you get a 17 and your dream score is a 25 plus? And a nice little way to connect with the group. Why are you taking your TOEFL? Pharmacy, nursing, dentistry, graduate school, that way we can see as a group and connect, and it's always fun to have that. So go ahead and text that. And as you do, one question that came in from and Keith, I took the TOEFL test at the test center, but it was hard to face a lot of disturbances because people were shouting during the speaking section. Yeah, we tend to get loud when the speaking section comes. Now I'm planning to take the TOEFL at home. Would this be a good option? Yes, I think it's a great option. Just make sure that you have your whiteboard, right, and you start practicing with it now because at the test center you get sheets of paper given to you. When you take it at home, you have a whiteboard with a marker, and you want to get comfortable with that. So I would start preparing with that as soon as possible. So that's the only real thing that's going to challenge you. And then just know that there's going to be maybe technical trouble. I think when you take the home edition, my experience taking it myself, other students, there's a longer, seems like a bit of a longer check-in process. Sometimes things don't always work smoothly, but it's a great option. One thing that I want to add for all students who face this is part of what we teach in the course, a good reminder that every time you study, try to make 10% of your study time with some distracting music in the background. Like, for example, today, if you're studying, let's say you're all in, you're going to study 4 hours today, right? So if you're studying 4 hours, so that would be something like maybe 24 minutes, 25 minutes of that study time, 10%. You play some music in the background in your headphones that you don't really like, that's just loud enough to take away your attention. And that short time is going to train you with how to focus. So it's also going to help you deal with disturbances that come up on the exam that are almost not guaranteed, but very possible, especially if you take it at a test center with other students. So, great question. And Jignesh, does the Diamond class have a new TOEFL structure? So this is our Diamond course or self-study course. We'll talk about our courses at the end of this class. But yeah, they're all updated and being updated for the new TOEFL, which changed July of 2023. And then welcome Oleg slash Alex. And let's see here. We got some scores. So Siham, 23. So let me know what your dream score was. Yes, and Marlena, this is for specifically speaking TOEFL question 1, this class. Martha aiming for a 25 plus. Magdalena never took the TOEFL before. Dignesh, previous score 23, dream score 25 plus for physical therapy license. Fantastic. Siham, dream score 26 plus for pharmacy. Martha, of course, for nursing. Never taken the TOEFL before. Dream score 25 plus. Joaquin, previous score 21, dream score 25. You're curious what you're taking your TOEFL for to share with the group. Tikan, didn't take the TOEFL before, 26 is the dream score for pharmacy. A nice picture. Ooh, looks dangerous. So, Elsita, welcome. Happy you're here. 22, Sama, yeah, 26 is the dream score for pharmacy. Marlena, 24 and 25. 25 more. So we see everybody never taking it. 30 dream score. You can do it, Rama. We're going to learn how here. For pharmacy, need to get 25. For medical school, of course, Oleg. Excellent. Ah, yes. And we answered this question on Keith. I hope you heard it. Maybe you didn't, but it's there. All right. Nice. So let's see. Let's do one more, Madi. I booked my TOEFL examination time for 4 months ahead, and I can get 20 from each section in TPO application. So when you practice online, you get about 20 for each section. I wish you knew about it. My question is that how can I improve my score up to 100? What's your recommendation? 100 to 110, and what do you suggest me to do? So the easiest way I can tell everybody is that when you have, like, if you're getting 20 in every section, that's an 80. You want 100 overall, that's a 20-point improvement. Most students and, our success stories improve about 4 points every 100 hours they study, because oftentimes that's what the TOEFL demands. Once you're studying hard and you know the TOEFL, it's going to be that kind of study time that tends to help you improve. So I would say schedule study time to improve, to study 500 hours, because 500 hours will be the 20 more points that you need. And then I'll talk about the courses we have to help you at the end, because when you need to study that much to improve, I think that the most intelligent thing to do is to take a course, because it's so the improvement you want is so intense that I think that's the best way to have peace of mind and comfort. But you can also find a way to study on your own, organize your studies, but the key would be that study time. So let's just kind of quickly go through these. You see dentistry 25 plus, eczema, Marlene Damaris, 26, previous score 19, pharmacy, and Keith, 25, 29, masters in computer science at the best universities you can get into. Oh, nice. Abdul Baset, you got a 27. Now you want a 30. Whew. We're going to learn how to do that. So you see that as a group, we're pretty we're pretty intense in the sense that everyone here wants a top score. I would say our average as a group would probably be around a 22, and everyone kind of wanting around a 26 plus because we have some 30s here, 25 pluses, 24 pluses, but that's the average. So, as I was saying before, this means that as a group, we want to study 100 hours because it takes 100 hours to improve about 4 plus points. I want to make it as practical and direct as possible. My experience is that's the mindset. Strategy, technique, all these other things are important, but they're secondary to the mind that you have right now that says, I succeed with study time, not with just this one special trick or technique. Those help me, those are important. That's what I study, but it's study time that creates results. So, as a group, we can write down 100 hours. That's going to help us to improve 4 plus points. Now let's go on to our next part. Now that we connected and we surveyed, make sure you keep the questions coming in, managing limited preparation time. So let's go over question number one. Briefly, you get a 15 to 30 word question that asks for your personal opinion about a everyday topic, about communication with people, about friends, about family, about what you like to do to stay healthy, about what you see in the world with the environment, with communication, with technology. I haven't gotten too many reports from students talking about AI, artificial intelligence, but I feel like it's going to become a pretty common topic soon because I think within a few months, it's going to be relevant and something that's kind of expected for people to have an awareness of. But besides that, you get these everyday topics that you're familiar with. The TOEFL is not trying to trick you with the question. Remember that. To succeed, you're not you're just there to express yourself. And the TOEFL wants to evaluate how well do you express yourself? How smoothly do you speak in the moment? That's what the question is about. You get 15 seconds to prepare and 45 seconds to deliver your answer, to explain your opinion about the topic, and to support that opinion. So, this limited preparation time tends to give us stress. 15 seconds, how can I prepare my 45-second answer in 15 seconds? Well, here's the solution. It's all psychology and preparation. It's all the way you think and how you've prepared. So if the 15 seconds is challenging for you right now, the way to make it not challenging and manage it well is to change the way you think about the prep time and simply allow yourself to know, I need a couple more hours to prepare for this question. Then I'll understand it well enough, be comfortable enough with it, that the 15 seconds will be enough. So if you're really struggling with it, it's a sign that we need more study time. And so the easiest way I can help you with the psychology, and this should solve it, is that this is a question that tests instant speech. In fact, the entire speaking section is like that. The TOEFL wants to basically have this situation where it's like, speak, just talk, and let's evaluate how you speak, your pronunciation, your clarity, your connection, your smoothness with the language, your fluency. And so if you realize that, it's meant not to be enough. So you never ever want to think in 15 seconds you're going to prepare a 45-second speech. If you think about me teaching this class, I've been teaching the TOEFL for 15 years. So you could say I've had 15 years to prepare for this hour. That's a presentation. So the TOEFL is not wanting you to give a presentation. It's wanting you to, in the moment, how do you speak? So that means as you're speaking, you're thinking about what you're saying. Sometimes you need to pause, right? So that mindset is going to help you because now you get it. Oh, I see. It's not about prep time. It's just about me having the skills to speak in the moment. And we're going to develop those today. So the 15 seconds is a bonus, it's extra time. But to really do well on this question, you want to have the techniques, the template, and the mastery to speak without 15 seconds. And you do that every day. Remember, every time you go to a store, every time you interact with friends, every time you speak with coworkers or colleagues or in any situation, you speak in the moment. So that kind of energy, that kind of speech is what you want to bring to the TOEFL. Of course, with some adjustments for the exam. So once more, do not think you'll ever be able to prepare fully. I don't ever think that. It's not the way to succeed. It's just, oh, instantaneous speech. And so the more you prepare, the easier it will be. For example, reviewing this class. When you do that, it's going to make it better for you to speak instantly on what we're going to train. So let me go ahead and do the next slide. I think that was pretty clear. Normally, I like to do a comprehension check, but I feel like that one, if we listen carefully, yeah, kind of should make sense, even though maybe it doesn't feel so easy. So this is where I think everything comes together. So as you know, you're giving your opinion about something, an everyday topic. Do you think children should be better raised in the city or the countryside? Do you think technology has made people uh, less polite or more polite, right? Just these different things that you're just bringing up topics to discuss. Do you think movies are a better form of entertainment or books for people to consume, right? So, a lot of this has to do with understanding reasons and then examples that support our reasons. So, this structure is the key, and this is what the TOEFL wants. So, the basic idea is that you have a pattern of speaking where you give an answer. You should study 100 hours to improve 4 points on your TOEFL speaking. That's a declaration I have, right? That's a statement I'm making. You can consider that an answer, an opinion, but it's very forceful because I'm making it almost as a fact. You should study 100 hours for every 4 more points you want on the TOEFL. So the pattern is that next I give a reason. This is going to give you enough study time to improve. So that's a reason. It's going to be enough time to improve. Now I'm going to support it with an example, an illustration. For example, many students that we've had that work with us often talk about how they need to improve and they've struggled for years. And the main reason that they haven't improved is because they've studied off and on. And when they track their studies, they think they're studying a lot, but oftentimes they haven't even studied maybe 25 or 30 hours for one section. So they never build up enough repetition to really turn something into a skill to raise their score. Now, of course, this is more than 45 seconds, but this is natural speech. So if you want to improve the TOEFL, and many of you want top scores, you want 3, 4, 5 more points, you want to be rated the highest scores possible, 25 to 30. That means that you need in your everyday life to become aware of this. Whenever you have someone who you think speaks well, television, friends, YouTube videos, whatever it is, documentaries, this is how they speak. They make a declaration, they give a reason, and they give an example. So you need to notice it in others. And in your everyday speech, you need to start forming that structure. Because if you're serious about improving, you need to use every moment you can to not stress yourself out, but start leveling up your skills. Now, as you do this, and specifically for the TOEFL, right? You're going to start as you practice questions. We're going to do one question today. You're going to start to recognize that your reasons for believing what you believe start to limit into the same reasons. You're going to start to notice that you as a person, one of the reasons why you like watching funny movies when you get home from work is a similar reason to why you think children should grow up in the city instead of the countryside. which is a similar reason why you think universities should be free. You're going to notice that because we as people, we tend to feel and think the way that we do for a limited set of values. Values. So, for example, let me ask everybody a question. Why are you studying for the TOEFL? Everybody text me. Why are you studying for the TOEFL? You already kind of texted me because you need it for your, your job to practice, but we have to think more about our values. So, what is it that getting our dream score is going to allow to benefit our lives? Those are our values, our reasons. And so when we build our vocabulary, it's a vocabulary of values. And we teach this, in all our courses. My students familiar, that we call this your values, your needs. We have training on this. It's one of the homework assignments that I give in all the courses is to memorize a list of vocab. For example, words like self-expression, challenge, freedom, peace of mind, hope, joy, fun, excitement, connection, community. You see how easily those words come to me. If those words don't come easily to you, my experience is you're going to continue to struggle coming up with reasons because you don't really have the vocab. Now, you're not going to say the first reason is self expression, the first reason is challenge, because that's awkward, right? We don't speak like that in everyday academic language. These words create a connection to the idea, the value. So, why are you studying for the TOEFL? What is self expression? Well, one of the reasons is because I want to communicate better in English. That's self expression. I want to be better and understood at work when I work in the US or whatever, wherever it may be. So that connects you easily, smoothly with that statement, which is clear, academically, you may not think, but complex, simple and direct, and going to get you a higher score. Or challenge. Why are you studying for the TOEFL? Well, this one I like that word, so I would say, one of the main reasons is because I enjoy challenging myself, right? And then freedom. Why are you studying for the TOEFL? What does freedom mean? Well, because I want to be able to work anywhere I want, right? And then your example follows from that often pretty smoothly because once you've connected with it, it relates to something more personal that you've experienced or that you want. So, for example, why are you studying for the TOEFL? And on the TOEFL speaking question one, it would be something like, you know, if you had a subject that you wanted to study that you never studied before, what would it be and why? Same reasons, ideas, same question type, right? Or students go to, or people go to museums for a variety of reasons. Why do you think people mainly go to museums? Support your answer. So this is the same thing about, do you believe that it's still important to pursue higher education? Right? Especially because now there's so much information on YouTube, there's so much information online. Do you think it's still important to get a degree? These are all possible question ones, and they all are the same theme. So again, that's why when you build a basic vocab of, this is just 3 words, but if you just have 5 to 7 of these words, so if you use these as inspiration, you're going to find that you're going to be able to answer any question and you're going to like your answers. They're going to be higher level and clearer. So, to continue with this, why are you studying for the TOEFL? Well, one of the main reasons is because I want to express myself better in English. For example, sometimes I find at work, because I work in the United States with other people, sometimes my colleagues ask me to repeat myself because they couldn't understand what I said. And I don't like the way that feels. See how natural and comfortable and clear that is? So you don't have to have this sense of like, okay, now I'm going to give one sentence about my reason. It's going to be this exact word. And now I'm going to say this perfect little template of, for example. It's just, it flows naturally, but it's that process of answer, reason, example. So comprehension check right now, everybody. Let me know in the chat. Very important. Does that make sense? Did you learn something? This will begin to create more ease as you practice and do the question. So let me see some questions that came in. So Bezad, I think you asked this before we started. What's the best way to come up with ideas so fast? You need your cheat sheet. You need to know your reasons before the question. And I promise you, once you do a few questions, I just gave you three great vocab words. You build that vocab, it's you're going to come up with ideas quickly because you're going to see the similarity. Oh, nice, Nure. I like the diamond course a lot. Awesome. I'm happy you do. Looking forward to having small group tutoring classes. When is it going to start? So, small group tutoring for December is full. So, the next will be in January, and I'll probably release that schedule within 2 weeks. And I let everybody know on the site as well as through our email. And I'll tell everybody if you're not already part of our newsletter to get our emails about classes and more help. I'll show you how you can add yourself at the end of the class. Do we have to study grammar regularly? Do you recommend any grammar book or any sources? Yes, I think it's important for you to be studying grammar 1 to 4 hours a week. I would say it depends on you. Oftentimes, you're pretty good at understanding if you need that or not, especially in our classes, because when I teach every section and we try to understand complex TOEFL material, I always give grammar lessons because it's like, do you know what the subject and verb and object is here? You know, this adjective is talking about this word. So that's what helps us answer questions for the reading and listening and speak better and write better for the speaking and writing. So I would say 1 to 4 hours. Do you have any grammar books? So there are three suggestions I have. As students, I think every one of you probably has a grammar book somewhere. You can just get it and start reviewing it from the beginning. Instantly going to help. Number two, Google. Like if you feel pretty comfortable, whenever you hear a grammar term or word you're unfamiliar with, you can search it online and often it's quite helpful, but it's disorganized because you're jumping around. So that's if you have a good level. And three, I'm not going to talk about it at the end of the course. I might if you remind me. But if you go to our site, notefull.com, you check our courses, because it's so critical, we have an intense grammar course that guides you through everything for the TOEFL. So I hope those three things help. Let's see here. Nice. So everybody comprehension check 100%. Martha says yes, but I haven't gotten too many. So Rana, hello Joseph, I have a problem in topic development and pronunciation. How can I fix this? Topic development is basically the pattern of answer, reason, example. So if what I just said made sense and you can let me know, that is topic development because you have developed from an answer to a reason and then developed the reason with an example. So that's sufficient and complete for question number one. Magdalena, yes, as well. Keep them coming, everybody. Thumbs up to everybody studying hard. Okay. And Saham, yes. Good, good. More texts, more comments. There's a big group here. I want to hear from as many of you as possible. So the next thing is that you're going to notice that even your examples, you're talking about certain times of your life and certain parts of your life is going to be consistent as you practice questions. So you want to have a notebook and have a page. You got to start organizing your studies if you haven't already. And you should have a page dedicated to reasons because this also relates to writing question number two, where you support your own opinion about something. So once you get like 7 of these words, you can pretty much answer any question on any topic. And that's amazing. But you'll probably come up with 10 to 12 words just with a week of studying, a couple of hours. The next thing you want to do is with your examples. Remember, I gave an example of work, right? At work, my colleagues, they sometimes have trouble understanding me. They ask me to repeat myself. Well, that experience you can write down, right? And so you add a list of examples. And once you have, again, 5 or 10, there are two things that are going to happen. This is very important. Number one, as you write your example, your brain is going to better understand what is the structure of the example. What parts of my life are are what I'm constantly referencing. It's going to happen naturally. So you're going to find that as you write your examples down, it's going to be easier to come up with newer ones because your brain is understanding what parts of life to reflect on. Your brain is getting, oh, this is how an example is structured. And in addition, you're going to notice that some examples can apply to different questions. And as a result, you now are generating reasons and examples more easily because you have a memorized list of them that you can instantly bring up, right? So this is a high five thing. This is going to change things. The only one thing I want to say is don't force the same reasons and examples. Sometimes we want to make it easy. So once we come up with 2 or 3 reasons, 2 or 3 examples, we want to use it for every question. That's okay, but then you're going to sound unnatural. You're going to sound forced. Your words are not going to come out smoothly, and you're not going to get the dream score that you want. So just keep building your lists and no, it's not going to be 5 or 10 pages. It's going to be maybe 5 or 10 examples, maybe 10 to 15. And then you're pretty much good and you've mastered that for TOEFL speaking question number one. Appreciate you. And then let's see some comments. So hope that makes sense, everybody. Let me know. 7, how to stop thinking in first language and stop translating to English. There are a lot of videos and different things about this, but I think the first thing that happens is as individuals, especially as academic professionals, this is really important. You become used to, accustomed to a certain standard of communication in your native language. You've studied, you have a good vocabulary. For the most part, you have no limit to how you communicate. And then what happens is you take that standard and apply it to the language you're learning, for example, English. But what happens at this level is you have to remind yourself not to speak from what you want to say in your native language, but to speak from your vocabulary in English. That means when you hear or want to communicate in English, you stay in English. You don't ever think of that word that comes up in my native language. It might happen, but you ignore it. That then is going to point you to where I don't know how to say that. I don't know that word. Like, let's say you want to communicate, give instructions to your coworker. Let's say you want to express an idea about your time at university in the classroom, and you're like, man, I don't know how to explain the situation at all. Then what you do is you go to Google, very easy, and you just search, you know, common things that happen in classrooms. If and so at this level, you're going to have to, in my opinion, embrace and be okay with going through what it's like not to be able to communicate fully, to have some limitation to how you express yourself. Then you're in the language and you're bumping up to the places where you have difficulty. And what do? You simply research those situations. You Google them so you can read some articles about that, build your vocabulary, how to express that. The other thing that you want to do is make sure that when you communicate, your goal is simplicity. So sometimes in the moment of communicating, you don't know that specific word. So you explain it. For example, let's say a printer, right? The printer is what prints documents from your computer, right? Let's say you forgot what that word means. So how would you express that? So you would say, well, what I did was I went online and then I found the information and then I just got that information on a sheet of paper and took it to work. So it's like it's kind of a little jump because you didn't say you printed it out and then took that sheet of paper to work. So you allow yourself to also speak through your challenge. But then that's under situations of the TOEFL and you'll be okay. But then you do the research. Like what do you call the object that makes paper with words? And then you kind of go through it. Or you say, what are common things in offices? And then you get a list, computer, oh, printer, things like that. So I hope that makes sense, Seben. Let me know. But that's the key. And as I said, at this level, it comes from hard work. Lot, bringing good reasons and examples under time pressure presents a big challenge. Any suggestions? So that's exactly what we covered, Lot. Let me know if this made sense because that's the answer, what you see on the screen. So Bazad still believe in memorizing one sample response for each task. I remember once you said that it will be of great help. Yes. So for Bazad and others, one thing that you can do is in our courses or by yourself, when you practice a question and you develop an answer that you're really proud of for yourself or an example answer that you really like, what I suggest you do too to help you is you memorize it, every word. So that's not to use on an answer. That's actually to train yourself for this is the ideal. This is how I want to speak. So I still recommend that, but that's not to come up with reasons and examples. That's like to understand the ideal of how you want to communicate, of the structure of the process. Because sometimes, let's say we're practicing and we keep running out of time. We keep making our examples too big. Sometimes it's as easy as repeat that memorized answer, and then you'll see, oh, this is how fast the example has to be. I just have a couple of sentences, just these words. I got to get to the point quickly. Okay, I get it. So you repeat a memorized answer and it reteaches you what you learned so that when you do a new question, you're not using the reason and example. You learn something. Oh, I have to get to the point quickly. I have to say it in just a few sentences. So when you do the new question, it's helpful. And I recommend that for the speaking and the writing, where you memorize something and you go through it, and that reteaches you how you need to write, how you need to speak. And let's see, Magdalena, I was writing many question answers of question one in my notebook. It helped me, but was time consuming. There are some shortcuts. Yes. Number one, you don't have to write your full answer, just a quick note of your reason and example. So it should just take a few seconds, maybe a minute or two maximum. So it shouldn't take that long. So that would be a shortcut that I think. All right. And Roddy, I hope this too. I hope all of us pass soon with the help of Joseph and every other resource you have. We will. We will. Let's continue with expressing ourselves clearly. So, expressing yourself clearly is starting to develop a rhythm. Practice helps so much because you develop a sense for yourself of how much time to spend in each part of the question. Because sometimes we can overtalk, we can repeat ourselves, and then we hurt our time management and everything doesn't flow smoothly. We feel time pressure, so we can't speak clearly. So, speaking clearly to me is being simple, direct, and following the rhythm that you just learned. So, let's try this with a question. And everybody, you can text your answer. Do you agree or disagree with the statement that technology has improved communication between people? Do you agree or disagree with that? Use specific reasons and examples to support your response. Now, I'm going to make this a little smaller so we can see everything. You see our template here, and it follows exactly what we discussed. We have 15 seconds to prepare. We have the right mindset for that. We know how to take advantage of that. We need our memorized vocab and examples. Then we have our 45 seconds to answer. So a answer that's going to give us a 24, 25, 26, 30 on the speaking needs to be well structured academically so it flows smoothly. To help you with that, we have a template. So you have words that tell you and trigger you, I have to do this now. So the first word is in my view. In my view establishes I need a clear, direct answer to this question so everybody who hears it knows what I think. We spend about 8 seconds on that. Then I need to give my first reason first, and I explain it just as I learned. Then I give my example or my support. You have the word for instance to help you with that. So if these words are small, you can hear me, and we have 17 seconds for that. Then we repeat the process for the second reason and example, and then 3 seconds for the conclusion. That's why. Now, the reason why we give two reasons and examples is because it shows your variety of speech. No grader who hears that is going to say you have limited vocabulary unless you're repeating yourself. That gives a nice variety. You can give one reason and example. You can give three reasons and examples. Nobody really pays attention or, as I say, cares. What they care about is a well developed answer where you do not repeat yourself and you explain yourself at a high academic level, which means just naturally and honestly. And so if you give two reasons and examples, it's ideal. So let's go ahead and kind of work on this. So, has technology improved communication between people? I want to show you that self expression, I don't really see an easy connection with this question, but challenge, definitely, because I feel technology has reduced the challenge of communication and therefore has helped people to communicate more. Freedom, well, this is my critical thinking. When I think of freedom, I think of the freedom to communicate with people, but that's similar to challenge. So I wouldn't say that because it's the same idea. So what other words represent my values? So if I look here, that one thing that comes to mind is that it's made it easy to continue a conversation. Like the next thing that comes to mind is ease in continuing a conversation with text messages. You you have the information there. So it's made communication smoother because you can move forward. You have a text message about the previous conversation, you can keep it going. You know the dates, the addresses, the links, because technology often captures what was discussed. So that ease, that sense of the quickness of my ability to say, oh, that's recorded, and I can express that, comes from doing what I just taught you here. Because when you do enough questions, when you build your list, your brain recognizes this is how I do it. This is how I think of examples. These are the parts of my life that I'm going to talk about. Visualization happens so that you can think better instantly. So as I express myself, I'm going to do it without a timer just to be smooth and comfortable, and then with a timer just as a reference for everybody. So, in my view, technology has improved communication between people. First, it reduces the challenge of communicating. For example, when I was growing up and going to college, in order to call home, I would have to use a landline, pick it up, and dial, because my family was in a different state, a code to be able to speak with them, different country. And as a result, sometimes I wouldn't call them because it was too much work. Second, I think it's helped communication because people can keep a conversation going and developing. For instance, sometimes when I'm talking with my friends, we do, text messages as a group. So it's super easy to see what someone said that I didn't hear if I check back later because it's recorded in the text message. I can see dates and links, so it makes it smoother and easier to keep a conversation going. That's why I think technology has improved communication dramatically, right? So, first, for everybody, you need to do that. You need to forget the timer and you need to just work on this process. You need to be able to give an answer, a reason, an example, a reason, an example, and a conclusion without the timer so your body gets that rhythm. And that sometimes takes hours, but that's the requirement because that's why it's 100 hours to improve 4 points because you need time to do this. So before you get to the timer, and my recommendation is do what we discussed. Build your list. Feel confident with it so when you do different questions, it's more comfortable. Do this template without a timer so that you have the process and the comfort. Then when you get a timer, you're going to be able to adjust because this is the final result. This is the end of hard work. We're not going to get here, in my experience, instantly unless we've done the other things. So I'll do my best now. Take my deep breath. I can do it. Our little routine before every answer to start strong, and I begin. In my view, technology has definitely improved communication between people. First, it's reduced the challenge of communicating. For instance, when I was in college and wanted to talk to my family from a different country, I would have to use a landline, enter a number that was complicated to pay and to connect with a different country. And sometimes I didn't call because of that. Second, it also keeps conversations going smoothly. For example, in group text messages, sometimes I'm not always present, but I can see what my friends texted that I missed and then continue the conversation. That's why I believe technology has really helped. So to me, that's a 30 out of 30. I'm smooth, I'm connected from beginning to end. That's all we have to do, but that doesn't come instantly. That we have to remember we don't become professional with a tip. We become professional when we work on a tip for hours and hours and hours. Now, when I heard my answer, I'm not satisfied with my first reason because my example didn't illustrate the benefit of technology because I just implied that right now technology has improved, so I don't have to do all that hard work to call my family from in a different country. So I would have, if I were to restate that, I would express how before it was difficult. I had to dial extra numbers. I had to make extra, I had to buy a phone card to make payments, but now I can just pick up and just dial on a cell phone and it's all charged and instantaneous. So even when I answer and it's strong, I still listen so carefully to recognize how can I be clearer? Because sometimes what I notice is a student may take a class, may watch a video, and then try the answer and say, well, it didn't come out perfect, so that strategy didn't work. Somehow we're forgetting whatever we learn takes sometimes dozens of hours, 12, 24, 36, to be able to do that skill, right? We have to remember that. And also, we have to learn enough skills, build enough skills so that the end result is so different, it's going to get a higher score. So, how much study time does it take for that? About 100 hours, right? So, let me know if you like the answer, if that sounded good. Keep those messages coming. I'm seeing the messages, but I want to see more. I want to see more. So let's see, Diana. So my mental concentration is, do I need to calculate the time or there's a clock for me? There's a timer for you. So you'll be able to see it. So you just have to memorize the template as you see on the screen so that you know by this time I should be here. But this is a guide. Nobody's perfect. So you can go over, but at least that way you know, oh, I'm over. I got to get to the point. So I have a well developed answer. But you can see the timer. Rana, good. And Fadoy, is it better for topic development to give two reasons and two examples, or more details about one reason and one example? As I said, both are perfectly fine, but two reasons, two examples to me is the better, more consistent way to express enough variety in your answer to show your fluency to score high, up to the perfect 30. Marlene, good, making sense. Martha, good, making sense. Magdalena, we make two big answers and then no time to speak. Looks deceptively easy. It is art just to focus on one small reason and answer. Can be many reasons it harms my timing. Please review that part of the class where I gave an answer without the timer, which was way more than 45 seconds. And then when I started the timer, I finished on time because you just want to practice that and you'll build that skill. And remember what we talked about before. You can memorize an example answer from our course, from this class, from yourself, where oh, I got it. Two reasons, two examples, conclusion, it works. Make a transcript of your answer, of our example answer, every word, memorize it, and then speak it in 45 seconds. And it reminds you, I have to get I have to get to the point this fast. I have to say just these words. And then you can take that idea and then summarize it, get to the point. And that's a incredibly important skill for the speaking. So we can't escape that study of how do I take something that is 2 minutes to explain and explain it in 45 seconds. Totally possible. Just deleting details and picking those important points. And I hope I've illustrated that. But if not, we keep attending, we keep reviewing. Best answer I wish for myself, you'll be able to do it. Keep reviewing the class. Perfect. Siham, thank you. Amir Hussein, good. Gafar was great. Don't we need to give a summary of our reasons in the conclusion? No, no time for that. So you just would say, that's why I think technology has improved communication. And sometimes the conclusion is there's no time, so we just say that's why. Because it's so short, 45 seconds, it's like that's why I think what I think. That's why. That's why I feel that way. So no big deal for the conclusion. Bozy, can you save the live? Save the live? Yes. It'll be automatically uploaded to no, not Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So you'll have it there for reference. Do you take the introduction, take 37 seconds out of the whole 45 seconds? No, the timer counts down. The timer counts down. So this illustrates that 45 seconds is when the timer starts. And then when the timer hits 37 seconds, you should start the first reason. Timer hits 20 seconds, you should start the second. Timer hits 3, you should conclude. Then the timer hits 0. So if you do the math there, that's 8 seconds for the answer. So happy you brought that up. Siham, my problem, I speak very fast and my pronunciation comes out unclear. What's your advice? We have our course, right? We have the training on building your pronunciation and speaking speed. And so my advice is really going to be simple so it can be instantaneously helpful for you and everybody. Every one of you listening, listen carefully. Are you listening? You can turn up the volume. You're brilliant, intelligent academic professionals. It is a fact. You are taking your profession already advanced in one country and you're moving it to another in a different language. And that language you've already mastered to an incredibly high level because you're learning English in English, which is already high level. So sometimes we just need help. So listen carefully again. You're intelligent enough to be able to discover how to improve. If you trust yourself and you actually set time to organize your thoughts and say, here's my challenge, here's what I'm going to do to improve it. So, for example, you can record yourself and then you can listen and you can say, I'm speaking too quickly. So, let me slow down so I can hear myself more clearly. And you practice that and you'll be able to change that pattern. In addition, you'll notice these are the words I have trouble with. Let me look up these words on Google, see how they're pronounced, make a list of my challenging words, and practice them half an hour a day every day. And of course, because all words are from the same alphabet. So those trouble sounds, you're going to start to see the pattern. So what I would say to you is, if you're studying by yourself, it's really important to um, use your own critical thinking like that to organize your studies. And if you're taking a course, which I'll talk about in a minute, I mean, that solves the problem because it outlines what to do. So I hope that helped you and everybody. Bezat, should all the examples be personal or we could use impersonal ones? Both are fine. Yeah, because what happens is sometimes for some questions and some reasons, ideally, everything is personal because it's coming from your mouth. So even if you think it's not, it's personal because you're saying it. So you have the vocab, you have the experience. So what you want to think more of is, does it explain my argument well? Does it explain my reason and answer well? Does it support it? But it can be from somebody else, it could be from a book, it could be from a documentary, it could be something you lived, as long as it's clear and it's explaining. I hope that makes sense. So Diana, I know that for the TOEFL IBT, it's more technical. I would use, yeah, technical is the process of success, right? We're very technical in how we teach, in what I want you to do. But I would say we can call the exam academic. Does the answers need to be also technical language? No, not technical. Technical refers to the fact that we have a technique, a process, one, two, three, four. So we learn and we express and we do things super technically. But the exam is academic. So when we express ourselves, we just want to use simple, clear, direct language because the exam is already academic. So just answering the questions, we're going to use academic vocab because we have to, because it's an academic question. So you can trust that if you're answering clearly, honestly, and following what you learned, you don't have to worry about your vocab. You just have to worry about being clear because that is hard enough and that is highly rewarded on the exam. I hope that that answers your question well. Rama, how can we keep our eyes off the timer and know when we should go to the conclusion? You develop a rhythm for looking at the timer. I suggest you look at the timer anywhere from 3 to 6 times for every question. And some students maybe more or less, but you check it. So what happens is in every template for the writing and for the speaking specifically, you see that we have these change points. From the answer, we change to the reason. Then we change to the example. Then we change to the second reason. Then we change to the example. Then we change to the conclusion. Change points, transition points. So you develop a habit of checking the timer as you reach a transition point. So it's very technical, but it's a really strategic way to kind of sense. And I usually check the timer when I'm approaching the change point because when I hit the change point, it's too late to adjust. Shortly before the change point, as I'm getting to the end of my answer, end of my reason, end of my example, I check because then I can adjust. Like, oh, I have more time. Let me add a sentence. Oh, I'm out of time. Let me cut it off right now. And that's really critical. Can we mention research? Absolutely. That would be high level and great. Sama, I spent time hesitating to go with agree or disagree reason. Do you think go with agree more often? Neither. For this question, like there used to be, for those who remembers TOEFL speaking question number 5. That was, I think, in 2018. The TOEFL had 6 speaking questions. It had it for like many, many, many years. So that's what we taught. And TOEFL speaking question number 5 was basically you also had to give your opinion. I agree or disagree. Because of the structure of that, our strategy was, just go with whatever you think. And if you don't, just agree because of the technical structure. So I'm very comfortable telling everybody the easiest way to succeed, just agree with everything. But question 1 is such an instantaneous question. If you're not connected with what you feel honestly and naturally, you're going to struggle, in my opinion. So just agree or disagree in the moment, honestly. And don't think at all about what's easier or harder because it's all easy and it's all hard. Doesn't matter. So just go with what you think honestly and you'll do better. Wow, we got a lot of questions. So, because of the live, it's a really cool way for us to connect. So let me go ahead and continue, right? Keep asking your questions, right? Good job. Thumbs up to everybody. I like your engagement. Keep it going. So, Nure, I can find reasons, but I cannot combine my reason with correct grammar rules because time makes me nervous. So, for Nure and everybody, don't think about combining it with grammar rules. This is practical, simple, and going to help. Everyone speaks as a student, in my experience, everyone speaks with grammar worse than what they're capable of because you don't have to think about grammar rules. You just have to think about grammar as you speak. For example, if you're saying, I think, because we're students, if we speak instantly without, well, if we speak instantly, it doesn't mean we speak quickly. We need to speak slow enough so that we can hear ourselves. That way, we'll avoid saying things like, I am think, which is incorrect, or I thinks. We say I think because we know how to make the subject I agree with the present tense form of the verb think. We can conjugate it. I think. He thinks. We think. They think, right? But when you're speaking quickly, you're going to just be in your pattern, and your pattern is your old score. So it's, are you listening to yourself as you speak? Now, the common response from students is, yeah, but I can't speak slowly because then I'll speak too slow. Then you'll be stuck in your score forever. Because how can you expect a higher score if you're not hearing yourself, if you're not modifying your speech based on your own listening? So that's why it takes hours to improve because when you slow down and you start to correct yourself, you're going to start to speed up after a while because you've gotten better. You've made the corrections. You improve your quality of speech. But the expression I have is sometimes we have to slow down so we can speed up. Because if you speed up without slowing down, you're just going to enhance the way you speak now. And you're here because you need to improve it. The way you speak now is not sufficient. You want something stronger. I hope that makes sense. And then Fadoy, is it essential to paraphrase the statement? I can say I strongly agree that technology has improved communication between people. Yes, you can. Paraphrasing is great, but not essential to get a perfect 30. How do we know? We take the exams ourselves to test that. We have other students. So the most important thing is clarity. And because it's so complex already, paraphrasing is great, but it's difficult. So it's one extra challenge that we don't need. So just make it natural because under timed conditions, expressing yourself honestly, it's going to naturally paraphrase. And if it doesn't, it's okay. It's okay. Whew, so many questions. Is it better to work on four skills at the same time or one by one? We just had a success story that improved from an 89 to 105. And when she was starting her TOEFL studies, she did 1 week of reading, 1 week of listening, 1 week of speaking, 1 week of writing. I think that's really effective when you start your studies. However, in general, I recommend working on all four skills each week. So that means Monday reading, Tuesday listening, um, Wednesday speaking, Thursday writing, because I think in 1 week, when you study all four sections, your brain can make connections better, but everybody's different. So my recommendation is that way. But but remember, she planned her studies for a month. So it wasn't I'm studying the reading 1 week because it's my trouble section and my exam is this week, because then you're skipping all sections. So you got to study all sections before your exam. I think maximum one section in 1 week, but ideally all four sections in 1 week. But up to you. I hope that's clear. It is art to stick with one reason and simply with example relevant to reason, no extra information. Correct. That's part of the skill. And let's see. Ooh, we got it. We got to the end. Lots of great questions. Thank you for giving answers. Last year I got 20 on speaking section at my first shot. I did a little practice, just memorized some templates. How much practice do you think I need to get 25 or above? So this is a great question. There are three experiences students have when they start studying. You get your first score, you get a 20. And let's say you didn't study. You start studying, you get a lower score. You get an 18. That happens because you're trying to apply something that you learned that's new. And often that means you haven't studied enough to master it. So trying the new thing makes you worse because you haven't mastered it yet. It's normal and it happens to everybody. Another thing is you stay the same. So that's also common. And that just means, again, like the first one, we need to study more. And the third one, which is also common, is your score improves dramatically. You got a 20, you study 1 week, you get a 26. This is when students already have a lot of the fundamental skills of grammar, of explanation, of fluency. They already have it, but they don't know how to direct it for the exam. So when they study, they learn, oh, I have to say with this structure, I have to think this, I have to do this. And so they're able to now bring out their full potential. So everybody is different, but the consistent form is 4 points, 100 hours. So if you want to improve 5 points, I would anticipate like 100 to 200 hours of study. And within that time, you might find your score improving quickly or slowly, but plan, schedule, studying the speaking, studying those templates, practicing for 100 to 200 hours, and you will get your 25 at up to 200, right? Because if you study 100 and you get a 23, it's okay. You got to study up to 200. But if you study 200 hours and you follow something specific like our course, you'll get that result. Whew, we did it. I'm going to drink a big glass of water after this. That was a lot of talking. So, did that help everybody? I'm going to skip. Oh, I wish I could teach this. I'm going to skip letting go of overthinking and second guessing in the sense of a detailed explanation. I'm going to go through it quickly. So, when you overthink or second guess, remember your goal is improvement, not perfection. That's what usually makes you keep thinking, I'm doing it wrong. What about this? Should I this or that? Got to trust yourself. Also, everyone performs well, then less well. As you start to study for the TOEFL, you're going to notice days where you feel great, days where you don't. Normal. Happens to everybody. Practice, practice, practice is the key to let go of that overthinking and second guessing. You're speaking well. Apply what you're learning. You're going to get better. Avoid fancy words or vocab. There's no need. Express yourself fully and honestly. That's enough. So if you're doing that, you don't need to second guess. Don't need to think, am I doing it right or wrong? You're doing it right. You don't need to think, is this good? Is this bad? You're on track. Also, investigate topics online. Search for opinion articles, not just example answers, to really build this ability. For example, here, I have this here where I just search online, technology and communication, and this article pops up from Forbes magazine, the role of technology in the evolution of communication. So if you really want to get better, you don't just look for example answers. You investigate the topic and you read this. And there's so much unbelievable information out there to help you. Not only do they have this article recorded by a human voice so you can click play and listen, you have the text. Build your vocab, read it. You'll come up with ideas. You'll see good ways of expressing yourself. You'll get more comfortable speaking confidently and academically. Research that topic. You'll see all of this, and I promise you, you do this for your 100 hours, you're going to get an improvement in your score. So actually, I think we completed that satisfactorily. So thumbs up to you, everybody. That completes the teaching portion of the course. And Sama, what is the time frame for 100 hours divided between 30 days or less? Up to you. It could be 2 weeks, it could be 2 months, depends on your schedule, but just that mindset of 100 hours. Regardless, if you study that, it should work if you're consistent, like even an hour a day. Magdalena, why sometimes when I have to answer long answers with a lot of logical explanation, I get to the point that I can't hear myself. We're probably speaking too quick and we got over focused on our explanation. So that just reminds us that we have to stop, breathe, and then reconnect, listen to ourselves, reconnect with the TOEFL. Because sometimes you can get so focused on what you're saying, you forget everything else. And then we just have to breathe and reconnect with our training. And then Bozy, what should I study in the 100 hours? About to tell you right now, everybody. So I wish I had an applause. Yay. Good job, everybody. High fives. We completed the class. Now, stick with me, everybody, if you want to keep studying to improve. Now, I'm going to share a little video here. Give me one moment, everybody. Okay. So
And
now
I
it's
when
time.
I gave my exam and got
Let's listen. So this is a recent success story, Yamini. For dentistry school, she improved her score from 93, already high, to 101. So she improved 8 points. And guess how many hours she studied? She studied 200 hours, but in 1 month by taking the course that I'm going to describe now. So I just want you to listen, get motivation and inspiration. And this is what we're going to learn about coming up, the course she's talking about. This is you, everybody.
and then I when I gave my exam and got the results, I felt like I need to do more and find a good, reliable resource. That's when I found your Facebook class. I believe it,
Cool.
yeah, it was a reading class that you did, and I felt this was the one. I should go for. Yeah, and then a lot of people were talking about it, so I decided to sign up. Initially, I was like doubtful, to be honest, but slowly I realized like I actually took this awesome April Gold course with you. Um, yeah, I love the classes and it really helped. Yeah.
So I thank Yamini and all of you, future success stories, because what she's describing is exactly what you went through. And that's why I love the success stories because they not only motivate me, I think you can tell, I hope you can tell, like this class is a full power class. I'm doing my best to teach you exactly as I would in the gold courses so that you really get the help you need because I know not everybody can join the classes for a variety of reasons. But I want to show you that it works. It's working for students just like you. So, how do we work together? The first thing is if you're not already signed up for our newsletter, make sure that you do because that's where we give emails to our free classes. That's where we give extra content. That's where we talk about our tutoring, our classes, our self study material, bonus information that I think is going to help you. So, when you click on this link or for this PDF, you just go to the NoteFull site. Let's go ahead and make this small. And on the getting started page of the NoteFull site, right, NoteFull getting started, you scroll down and you see this little text right here. You'll read it when you go. That's where you can submit your name and email. And that's where you get our information. And I'm going to add to the newsletter the PDF to this Facebook Live so that you can have it to review. So you can get the PDF by going there and then signing up. And then this is another student, Ahmed. One of my every one of you is my favorite. So I guess I can't say that, but another amazing student, right? Take a course. I wish I started sooner. It forces you to study. Have faith in yourself. You will pass. Work very hard to improve his score, dozens of points, wanting to share that with you. So if you need help, reading 28, listening 29, speaking 26, writing 27, total 110. I want you to know these courses are, if you can follow this class, you can follow the course. And so know that if you keep following and attending and reviewing, you're going to get there. And everyone is different. Some of us need more study time than others, but this is the path, right? So with that, how is it going to work? So we have classes starting this Monday together to cover the whole TOEFL reading, listening, speaking, and writing to improve your score. So she talked about the awesome April Gold course, Yamini and the success story. So this is the stellar December Gold course. We like coming up with the names, and I'll address any questions you have soon. But just to give a description, so in this course, right, starting and I'll share with you where you can register for it, right? Starting December 4th, it lasts 3 weeks, Monday through Thursday, and in these 3 weeks, we cover all 4 sections. I'm going to talk about a little bit more of the description, but you can see that the first 3 days we cover a TOEFL reading, your comprehension, all 10 questions, strategies, question types from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. New York time. All classes are recorded in case you miss it. And also, I need you to review them, right? Just to review, that's how you build skill. And your access doesn't expire. So you'll have those recordings, the material we use for as long as you need. Then we do 3 days on the TOEFL listening, covering lectures and conversations, note taking, answering strategy, 3 days of TOEFL speaking. We keep working on question number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you like this class, we'll get that help there too. And then 3 days on the TOEFL writing, question 1, question 2. So there's no individual feedback for this course, but I do give feedback during classes so that you can self evaluate yourself and understand how you're doing. So that's 24 hours of classes. So just to give the description once more, we're going to have new TOEFL practice. So any students here in a previous course or with any course we have, You'll see things that you haven't covered before, so you can test yourself again if you want that new material. All 4 sections, 24 hours of live classes total. As a reminder, it's recorded for you to review as long as you need, no expiration. And we have a lot of homework, 52 plus hours. So you were talking about grammar, we have grammar homework. Talking about pronunciation, we have pronunciation homework. We have vocab homework. We have comprehension homework. We have reasons and example homework. In other words, we have homework over 15 years that we've developed. So no issue you have is not in this homework. If you do the homework, you'll build all the underlying fundamental skills to defeat your TOEFL, to score up to a 110, to a 120, right? Because we've helped students who've scored in the 50s. If you've scored below 55, I would probably say that you want to concentrate probably maybe 60% of your study time on grammar, fundamental English, and 40% on your TOEFL. And then once you hit 55, 60 and above, you can concentrate on the TOEFL. I think your English level is strong enough. And you get our diamond course. So if you're a new student, especially, this is really, really significant. I think we're going to stop this year. So I think this is going to be the last time we do it because this is a really big bonus. So our diamond self-study course is a bonus, is where we have 200 plus hours of more training, right? More training for all sections. You also get my personal number to text me for help when you register. So it takes me time to reply, but it's a way for you to contact me directly for support throughout your study time so that you always have someone that you can rely on, especially if you're feeling a little bit alone or stuck in your studies. But there are limited spaces and the class is starting soon. So if you're interested, which I hope you are for many of you wanting to improve, you simply go to the site, you click on TOEFL Prep, and there you see online classes, Stellar December Complete TOEFL Gold Course. Please visit that page because I have a really detailed video that goes over everything so you can feel confident and comfortable that you'll pass. Our guarantee to make sure that you feel you're making the investment to support you to success. Any questions? We did it. We did it. Let me see the questions that came in. Safia, I scored 92 in 2015. So you knew when the TOEFL had 6 speaking questions. I need to sit again and I am worried about the new adjustments. Is there a test I can take to know where and what to work on? I have 3 days before my test can come across your profile. So I'll give 4 recommendations. So for everybody and for Safia to make sure you score high, I recommend the Stellar December Gold course because that's everything. So you'll be 100% for the new exam. For those of you who feel very confident studying by yourself, I'll give you our other options, which is our self study course, our diamond course, right? Which is sufficient to get up to a perfect 120, right? The only difference is in the classes, different material, same techniques and strategies, but taught live during class. So that's the way that you can get practice for the new TOEFL. We also have our updated ultra fast course. So let's say you want to take the TOEFL soon, you feel pretty confident, you just need practice and a good review. So it's about a 16-hour course, 16 to 20 hours, and that'll train you for all 4 sections and you'll know exactly what to expect on the new exam. You can also, for you and everybody, just try our free course, right? Our free course, you have the link here. It's also on the site, right? All our self study material. If you go to self study training under TOEFL prep, you see the diamond course, the ultra fast course, and the free course. And that has 4 hours of training and a mini practice. So you're going to see the reading, listening, speaking, and writing with answers. We've just added answers so that you can review each and make sure you feel confident and then upgrade as necessary. So that's going to prepare you, and you should feel pretty good with that, I hope. So, Lilia, I'm starting to study for the TOEFL. Do you recommend to study the diamond course first or the gold one? I believe the gold because you get the diamond as a bonus for now, and it's going to end. So that's really powerful. Also, if you're starting your studies and you like the class, I think it's really helpful if you need that encouragement because we have a schedule. You're going to be texting your questions, I'll be interacting. So it'll be good and it'll be fun. I think it's the best way to start. If you feel really confident in your own individual skills to study, then I would get the diamond course only. So it's really, do I do I like the idea of classes, or I feel I can study by myself? Because they're both going to get you to success. But for me, for most students, I think the gold course. It's more fun, it's starting soon, you get the diamond course as well. So I think it's a great time to register. Thanks so much. I'll share my success story with you as well. I can't wait. That's why I shared it. I want you to see it. I can't wait. It's always fun for that. And I know motivation for everybody because I know Yamini, right? Right
And
here,
when I
Yamini. I know she's inspiring many of you. Like, I can do it. I can make that improvement. But remember, she studied about 200 hours for her 8 points. Everybody's different, but study time is the key once you have this strategy in the course. Magdalena, thank you. Looking forward to meeting you on December 4th. Me too. Happy that you're in the course. Let's keep working hard. And then Akash, at last, is it helpful to improve my TOEFL speaking if I practice speaking to myself about daily activities? Absolutely. I do that. Like, we have Instagram Live as well. Instagram Lives are where I teach classes too. So if you're not on Instagram, just a quick reminder on our site, on the upper right, you have these little logos. You might be able to see them: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, but we're not very active on Twitter, now known as X, and YouTube. So you can click these links and make sure you follow us everywhere because in Instagram Live, I like talking about how you can practice question one by just looking around your house and just saying, what's something you like? Look at your windows. Do you like your windows? I do like my windows. The main reason is because they're big enough for me to see outside. For instance, sometimes when I'm working, I'm so focused on looking at a screen, my eyes start to hurt. So I just get to get up, look up at the window. And because it's so large, I don't have to get up and I could just see outside instantly. And so that's just practicing, but it's with the structure. So you do that every day. You do that comfortably. You do that when you're walking. Answer, reason, example. And in the Instagram lives, I teach how to do that for question 2, 3, and 4. So you just take your everyday experience and you, with some training, can direct it into a TOEFL technique. And then it can be fun, it can be practical, and you're going to be a success story because that's how we get better. That's how it becomes easy. That's how you become skillful. That's how you get a higher rating. Hope that makes sense. Good. Nure, looking forward to small group tutoring together. Me too. All right, everybody. I look forward to seeing you on Monday. I'm happy that you're here and feel good that we worked hard together. You're going to succeed. You're going to pass. And just put your mindset for everybody. My best advice is it's not in templates, techniques, and strategies first, it's in study time first. 12 to 24 plus hours a week for the TOEFL. And in that time, you study your strategies, techniques. But first, study hours, that's the key to success. And then filling those study hours with good stuff. And now you know how to work with us so that we succeed together. So, with that, it was a pleasure. Have a wonderful rest of the day, night, weekend for my students in the live now and for everybody watching this. So, hope to work with each of you soon and get your success story. And just because we post this on social media as well, if you do succeed and maybe you just do it with the free course or something like that, it's always great when we see your comments. So, until next time. Oh, and Mohammed, awesome. Used your channel to prepare within a week and got 115. You're like that car. Excellent job. Excellent job. That means you had a lot of those underlying skills. So bravo to you to have that ability right from the beginning. But everyone, we can get there with our study time too. So Muhammad, everybody, happy that you're here. Until next time, bye bye, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the live. See you Monday.